welcome to yet another exciting episode of Friday Flex, where we speak, of course, youth entertainment. So if you remember last week, we had a premiere or trailer rather of Netflix of the latest movie that the youth was talking about. This week we have something up our sleeves, but I will not give it away just yet. According to, next to me, I have a lovely guest, which I will allow her to introduce herself. And just before we get into it, today we're speaking about poetry. So, as you would know, the youth usually isn't really keen about poetry, so to say. So, Patricia. Sorry, I just gave it away. She was supposed to introduce herself. She will just tell us a bit in depth about her journey as being a poet. But let me just do the intro just for control so that we know, we at least have an idea about poetry. So poetry is a type of literature which is based on the interplay of words rhythm. So how cool is that? How you just intertwine and you rhyme and you, shall I compare thee summer's night, and how you actually have to find the hidden message behind those lines. So yeah. Over to you. Welcome firstly.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining me on this couch.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hi, my name is Patricia Uapunduka and I'm here to represent Poetry Namibia.
So, Poetry Namibia. Let's first start there. Yeah. Who and what is Poetry Namibia?
Okay, so what is Poetry Namibia? Poetry Namibia is an artistic platform that kind of represents artists and talents and showcases talents, different types of talents, but we mainly focus on poetry and or spoken word, but we also do expand it with singing and dancing and rapping and painting and drawing. So we kind of want to give a spotlight to youth and artists and everyone in that spectrum, but we mainly focus on poetry, hence the name Poetry Namibia.
Okay, can you tell us a bit about a poetry name? Is there a difference between the regular poetry and, sorry, not poetry name, but spoken word poetry? Is there a difference between the regular poetry and spoken word?
Honestly, I don't think there is a difference, but I would say spoken word is more, it's diverse, as in you can have rap as well, or like you can intertwine rapping with just saying your poetry, as poetry it's more of you just come on a stage and recite your work to the audience.
Alright, and so the current projects that can you just give us a bit of detail? The recent projects that you were working on.
Recent projects. Yes. All right. So when we did kind of get into the whole shows and stuff like that, we mainly did open mics, which is just we find poets or spoken word artists who would like to just showcase their work on stage, and then we'll just make a show for them. But the projects that we're doing right now is an online poetry talent show. That's very lengthy, but yeah.
Wait. Let's just pause there for a second. Tell us a bit about this online.
So, okay, we started August 1st, so it's quite recent. So since we really can't do anything physical because of this whole pandemic that is going on, we decided we wanted to give the people, our community and the people that are in our circle that really do follow us, we wanted to give them something. So we decided, why don't we do an online poetry talent show, since most of us are at home and we're not doing anything, and they can participate. Whoever like to participate, they can join. So basically this poetry talent show is where they record themselves reciting their work.
For how long do they record themselves?
It's 1 minute to 5 minutes, so it's not longer or more than that. Okay. And then they send it to us, and we're not really done with the steps. We're still in the process of watching the videos, and we're going to post them on our Instagram. Poetry Namibia, by the way, follow us. And then the people have to vote by the amount of likes, shares, comments they get. And then we pick our top 3, but only at the end, so you guys have to
only
wait
at the end
for
of
that.
this month?
Yes, this month.
Okay, so what's in it for the big 3?
Okay, the prizes we can't really mention right now because we'd be giving away and they'd get too excited, but we will mention it once we do get our top 3. So if we do post their videos, please do help your people. I guess maybe some of them might have sent through, so just help them out by liking or sharing or commenting, and then
okay, and are there any limited restrictions as to sign up? Any maybe age, or is it for everyone that's in the community?
Oh, okay. About that, we've already taken in the submissions.
Okay.
So, but there aren't any restrictions. We allow anyone of all ages. You know, we don't want to limit anybody. So, yeah, we take in females, males, any age, as long as the submission is 20, because that's our limit, because we can't really go further than that. But yeah, we already have our submissions now.
Okay. Patricia, I'm going to ask you, as I mentioned before we started, when I did the intro, rather, poetry is not really, as I said, the youth is not really interested in poetry and spoken word poetry, or even if there's a show that will be hosted, you know, there'll be a limited number of people attending it. Why do you think that is it? Is it because we don't have so much exposure to poetry yet, or what do you think is the main reason that poetry is still under you know, just under the level?
I would say it's probably the exposure, definitely. I personally have not met many poets and spoken word artists, just a few, which I luckily know of. So, and there aren't really as many platforms, you know, so to showcase other people's talents. So I think it's the exposure, definitely. It's not like the music industry here, or I guess the rap industry. It's not as great or as big as the poetry and the spoken word.
Okay. And what do you think can be done to solve that problem, sort of? Do you think maybe we can have an institute, not really institution, but an organization where we can come together and actually kickstart this in a professional way, that, you know, the upcoming ones that want to become poets, or as you said, spoken word artists, what did you say?
Spoken word artists,
yes. Those ones can come and actually sign up and have a strategic plan as to bringing this whole poetry thing up.
Yeah, there are many amazing poets in Namibia. Amazing. I've met so many great poets that need recognition and that need to be in the spotlight, because they really can't throw away the talent that they have. So, I mean, that's why we're here, Poetry Namibia. We really want to give this platform to the unfortunate ones that really can't get out there, and, you know, that don't have the resources to get out and put their work out there. So that's why we're here, to give them the shows and platforms like open mics, and partnering up with like big other big platforms. Like we've partnered up with Brewers Market. That's where we should have hosted our first show this year, but unfortunately the whole pandemic. But yeah, we have a lot planned in the future for the people that really want to get out there.
Okay. So now that you're a poet yourself,
yes.
So what is your style? What do you enjoy? But first, before you answer that, who is your favorite poet and why? Locally and internationally.
Okay, favorite. Okay, can I do 3 locally and then 3 internationally?
Wow,
favorite.
okay.
Yeah, they're really amazing. Okay, so locally. I hope people know them though. Locally, the first one I would say Franklin. He's amazing. He's amazing. Franklin, and then 2 of my very close friends, Tangi and Lavinian.
Okay, so
yes.
What's their style, and why are they your favorite?
Okay, I really can't speak for them as in what their style is, but the reason why I love them is because they're very in-depth, and they use their words very well, and the cadence and the flow, it's comfortable and refreshing, and they're just, personally, they're really just good artists that need to go further beyond, yeah. Yeah, those are my 3 favorite locally. And internationally, I would say Sabrina Bainam, I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, Sabrina Bainam, Rudy Francisco, and Neil Hilborn.
Okay, so now spotlight on you. What's your style, and for how long have you been a poet?
Okay, let me start with how long. I've been writing for like 4-5 years. I started when I was 13. But like, it's the whole Romeo and Juliet, type of, roses are red and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't really quite mature with my writing. But I started when I was 13, and then I stopped for a bit because I didn't really acknowledge my gift, I guess. And then I really got into it when I was 17. I started going to open mics, and I started writing more. I started interacting with other poets, and so I'd say I just fully got into it as in like a passionate thing when I was 17. And my writing style, I'd say I really write anything that comes to mind. I'm a very emotional, in-depth. So my pieces and my work are very sad, I would say.
Is that how society portrays it?
We can say that, yes, because I really get I really get comments that are like, wow, that was hardcore. So I'm guessing it was very touching and emotional.
I think we have something common in there, so I might as well look into your work.
Okay.
So now I'll hand over the floor to you.
All right.
You can recite a few poems for us, but before you recite, can you just tell us about what you're going to recite about, so that we also just have an idea? Because as I said, you need to search and you need to really think of the message behind the poem.
All right. So I'll be reciting 2 pieces. Okay. The first piece I wrote for a Virgil that I went to for the late Rejoice. I'm sure everyone has heard about that. Yes, may her soul rest in peace. And I went to perform that. Yeah, not really perform, but I recited it for her close friends and family. So it's just dedicating to her and like dedicating to the women, the girl child, she, female, and just everything that's been happening lately. And so do I just get into it?
Yes,
or, okay.
Yes. Let's get right into it. I'm so excited. Can you see the goosebumps?
Okay, I don't title my poems as much.
Why?
So
that's weird, actually. Why don't you title your poems?
The thing is, I just start writing, because I feel if you title them, then it kind of needs to be based on that.
Yeah, and like the title, it's the first thing that one looks at.
Exactly. So they expect what is in the title. Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. My body, your body, body but mine. Please have your own body and let me have mine. So let me have mine. Anything that goes in and out of me should not be anyone's responsibility. My freedom is not your sin. My freedom is none of your concern, and it is not an inequality. Women should not be afraid to walk on these streets that we have birthed. These pavement roads that we pour our heart and soul in, only to witness men walk barefoot on because their ego can't seem to clean their sinful soul away. See, we are here to stay. You claim that you bathe in the words of the late Nelson Mandela, but every time you see a girl child alone, you try to robin her future. We are made from the garden you forgot to water. Undressing the wounds you left on us has become a ritual. All we do is pray for safety and guidance, forgetting that the sinners who harm us believe that God is a man too, so who do we pray to? When we want to turn our fears into blessings, our trauma into lessons, I wish all the organs in my body could concoct into one and help carry the hearts that you've left your masculinity in. Stop making us feel like a guest in our own home. Just because we don't allow our tongues to lay low to your standards does not mean you should cut them off and leave us speechless. Don't leave us hopeless. You know your country's national anthem, but you do not bat an eye for when a woman's cry has become her anthem. Our existence is not your practice session. Our breath is not yours to hold. Our late nights out is not your hunting season. We deserve justice. We deserve to be held softly in gentle arms, not in arms that have stolen our dignity. Our divine femininity is the future. Rejoice will always be remembered. We will continue to carry her legacy. Hopefully, the bad guys gets his misery. The justice we scream every day for her will be heard. Let us continue to mold our vocal cords into one and fight for her. My body, your body, body but mine. Please have your own body and let me have mine.
My body, your body, body but mine. Wow, you blew me away. That was really touching.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're really good, Patricia.
Yeah.
Okay, can you recite the second one
Yeah.
and the last one for us, maybe?
All right, so this
So
second piece,
freestyle.
it's a free. I would say it's a freestyle, yeah. But mostly I just sit down and write.
Okay. So
Guess it's a freestyle.
viewers, so maybe you saw me doing this and you're like, what is she doing? So that is how we can
Yeah.
write for poetry. We snap it, we snap it because we can't applaud. We
Snap.
So, yes, so
It's
we
our language.
snap.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one, please would blow me away because I was blown away.
Okay, so the next one I would say, okay, I wrote this in May, so it was quite recent. It's actually one of my recent work. I think I was just having a really hard time, just coping and everything. So, you know, I write when I'm not feeling it because poetry is everything when you feel like nothing, you know, so I just wrote this.
Let's get into it.
This one has a title though, because it's actually based on that, at least.
Now I see.
Yeah.
Now I see why you put a title to it sometimes and why you don't.
Yeah. So this one is not a love poem. It's quite lengthy, so not too lengthy, I guess, but
Okay.
just get cozy. Okay. I found myself listening to music at a young age. Beyonce was my 12-year-old ringtone from Single Ladies, Halo, and Irreplaceable. I found myself memorizing to the left, but couldn't remember my right from wrong, my right from left. Maybe that's why every time you left, I would always leave the door right open for you to come back. My nostalgia would remind me about the walls I've built, which are currently tumbling down. The walls that I've made accessible for you. The walls where I forgot my innocence in. The walls that would tighten when you put on a grip. I held you against me. I poured my love, life, and ties onto you until you walked away from me and left the ego you carried to become my responsibility. If losses gives you lessons, explain why I still carry my best friend's coffin. You made my grief disappear ever so often, but now the breath you took away from me became the air I would exhale when I took a whiff of that flavored smoke, forgetting that addiction runs deep in my family. Frank Ocean's music made my taste in women a fairy tale, because every time they told me they loved me, I thought that I was dreaming. So now every time I think of someone else, I get PTSD was what you wanted, so you left me for someone else. You made me drown in waters I never knew would come from my tears. You made me thirsty for oceans I couldn't swim in. So now you had me singing along to Ariana Grande featuring Broken Records. I put songs together that made me think of love. Ones that I would listen to with my significant other. Ones that would play when making breakfast in the morning. But now, the only alarm I get are from my panic attacks. Every waking moment I pray to gods I don't even believe in for you not to leave me. Now I make playlists that I would play on my walk to hell. I don't believe in heaven anymore because I thought I saw angels in you. Instead, you robbed off my halo. Now I'm walking into the devil's arms listening to rhythm and blues. My life is a musical. The streets I walk on start humming, and sidewalks start buzzing, reminding me of every moment I lost putting into you. So I mold the parts you still hold of me like how I hold pictures of my best friend anytime someone tells me what is leukemia. as if your cancer, that is depression, does not already leave my mind paralyzed. Heartbreak and pain has become my brain's cocaine. Maybe addiction is meant to roam in my body anyway. I relate more to sad songs now. The ones that have the word baby in them. The ones that make me want to pick every type of flower and form them into bouquets. Unfortunately, the word baby plays in my head like an echo, hoping would bounce back and never escape. I'm not allergic to flowers, but I have a fear of bees because they remind me of every moment you sucked the sweetness out of me. This is not a love poem, but a reminder to anyone I've ever loved that I'm now a haunted bookstore. I'm filled with ripped pages and your ghostly I love yous that would only devour my soul at night, because that's when I felt less holy. This is not a love poem, but simply a warning to anyone interested in me. My ability to love is like a rap song. Flow, melody, and rhythm is present. But I need to recover from these broken hooks, these broken vocal cords. No wonder I don't scream when I have sexual intercourse, because it reminds me of back in the day when I was scared of anything that was put in me. I grew up listening to all types of music. Rihanna made my wild thoughts consume me. So round of applause to anyone that has ever made me feel like loving them was a rap battle, where my love always felt like I was held hostage behind bars.
Wow, 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 wow. Let me just gather myself. So,
Yeah, take your time.
Patricia, wow. Can you tell me okay, you said that you just feel like when you're in a situation, you start writing. Mm-hmm. So how long does it actually take for you to write? Because it was a perfect piece.
Thank you. Honestly, there are days where I can just write non-stop. Like I could write 2 pieces, 3 pieces in one day, separate pieces. And the pieces could be like 10 minutes long, break them down obviously. But then there are times where I have writer's block, and I think the longest I've ever gone with it was like 5 months. And that was it. Oh, imagine like living without the one thing, that makes you feel. So it depends really. I could write a lot, and then I could not write at all.
As you said, poetry is everything.
When you feel like nothing.
Mm-hmm. So that must have been a tough phase for you.
Yeah.
So now I want to read more of your work. So where do I find you? Do I find you on Instagram? Do I find you on Facebook? Do I find you on this written press, something site, WordPress site?
Okay, so I don't put my work out that much, because the first time I did that, a lot of people did steal my work.
But don't you add some type of disclaimer?
I should. I didn't at first.
I think you should consider that.
But I think I'm going to start putting my work out more, my pieces. But I do have WordPress, and I have the poem that I just recited on there. So if people want to dig deeper into it, you guys can read it. And it's just Patricia Uapunduka. Yeah, that's my WordPress. And then my Instagram, I don't post anything. But if you guys want to follow me, it's Pat_RIC, Rick, .star. It's 10 R's because I'm extra. You guys can follow me there, and yeah, that's basically the only platform I use.
Alright, so just before we close off, any message to the ones that want to, further their poetry but feel discouraged because of exposure or some type of personal stuff they are battling with?
Yeah, honestly, take your time with it. Don't rush. Poetry won't leave you. But please do something with your work. Please allow yourself to get up on stage and recite, because as much as it is relieving to write it down, it's so much more freer, and the freedom you have for your words and for your feelings when you do get up on stage and just even a small group and recite your work. And but no, don't rush it, please. If you ever feel anything that is not you, do write it down, because it helps a lot. Helps a lot. Maybe even send it to your friends or your close friends, family. You can send me your stuff as well. I would acknowledge them as much as I can. I'll give you the effort and time just reading it, and we can discuss about it. I'm very passionate with poetry, and I could give you guys some advice. I don't know, maybe feedback.
Be a mentor, even.
Definitely, I'm really willing to do that. But please, allow yourself to feel and allow yourself to acknowledge your work, because you are good. You are good enough, and tell yourself that as well, because yeah, it's you. This is your game, your world. Please take it to your advantage and just feel everything that you work on and that you do.
Perfect. Viewers, that was it from Patricia and I. Should I give you the honors to end it? Catch us next time. Catch us on the next episode, same time, same place.
Okay, yes. Thank you guys for having me. Catch us on the next episode, next time, next place, same time, same time, same place, and thank you guys.
Signing out, Friday Flex.